Hello, people. I'm live from the most interesting place in the world. Where might that be? My fucking sofa. This video may or may not be 2 seconds long, 2 minutes long, 20 minutes long. I'm filming from my phone, so if the quality is shite, don't blame me, blame capitalism, because I am, you guessed it, a poor college student. I am in my journey of self-recognition in the form of consuming less, creating more. I love TikTok, I do. Me and her have had several breakups. We've been on and off, as some would say. But recently we've been more off than on. I randomly, and when I say random, I mean random. There was no particular thing that caused this thing. Where are my words? We're stitching angles. I feel like I look better and skinnier from this angle. You can see my color a little bit. There was no particular catalyst for this change. I just know because I like check in with myself mentally aware. I need chapstick. Hold on. I'm gonna rifle through my bag over here. Let's see if I can find some chapstick. Hold on. Tampon? That's not chapstick. Hold on. I don't feel it quite yet. Bitch, we ain't got no chapstick in this bag. Hold on. I found it! New filming location momentarily while I apply said chapstick. I just realized that I was in that like state of doom scrolling where I couldn't really form my own colloquial thoughts. I was just like doom scrolling like the rest of us, doom scrolling and just like absolutely losing my fucking mind because I realized like, oh my God, the world is so crazy. We're at war, we're famine, we're strife. But in the chaos of my mind, I said, put down the social media, get off your phone and create. Which I know sounds so boring because that's what everybody says. They're like, you need to be creating more, consuming less. This is the solution to your dopamine deficiency. You need to pick up a book. You need to pick up a pen. You need to sketch something. You need to do this. And while I knew that this was right, my cognitive dissonance activates when I hear something that I don't want to fucking do or align myself with, even if I know it's correct. So, almost as if an angel of creativity came down and kissed me on my forehead at night. When I woke up, I want to say Friday because I think I got a long weekend. I don't even remember. When I woke up, I decided that I was going to delete TikTok, which I do this all the time. And then I'll re-download it at the gym because like, that's a whole nother thing. I have a video about it on my TikTok page about how like I use behavioral, conditioning on myself, operant conditioning. I reward myself when I do, but like I stopped doing that. No, because then like I stopped following the guidelines of reinforcement, and I was doing non-contingent reinforcement, using TikTok whenever I want. So then it doesn't work because I'm satiated. I'm not depraved, so it doesn't work as a proper reinforcement. I'm saying those big words to say me and TikTok have been broken up for almost a week. And I'm very, very clear-headed. I've been writing a creative piece. It's a sapphic love story. Not so much a love story yet, but I'm really excited. I'm almost 100 pages in within a week. I've been painting. Let me show you what I painted. Hold on, we need to make a quick little road trip to my bedroom, which is a mess. My fiance loves Pokemon, and I said, oh no, I should show you what I painted for myself, but I painted this for him and I'm more proud of this than I am with the one that I made for myself. It's a little Snorlax. I used an inspo pic from Pinterest. I don't know how well you can see it, but yeah, it's a little Snorlax in a field. It's super duper cute. Yeah, so I painted that. I painted myself a little Hello Kitty one. It's painted on wood because we have a bunch of scrap wood, which brings me to my next piece of creativity that I was able to complete due to my lack of social media brain rot. I made a freaking scratcher for my cats that they have yet to use. I even put a shit ton of catnip on it and they don't want to use it. I humiliated myself at Lowe's asking for free carpet scraps and the guy gave them to me. And I just remembered he asked us to do a survey and put his name and we didn't. So I'm so sorry about that. I think your name was Dylan. I'm a fucking liar. It's true. But yeah, I've been creating. I have been still consuming in the form of like monetary possessions. I have a mild shopping addiction that I picked up during tax season for obvious reasons, but I'm working on it. But yeah, I just wanted to check into the world of the internet because I still value it as a place of community, especially in a time like this where things are so up in the air. Things are so up in the air. Things are so up in the air. A lot of us in our generation, this is our first time being adults. Like, baby, I'm only technically 6 years into this adulthood bullshit, and all I can tell you is that it is bullshit. That's the only concrete thing that I know of being an adult, is that it is a whole lot of kaflum, as Drake the Hood Baby would say, or Table for Two podcast, and it's a whole lot of bullshit. Like, from the moment you turn 18, you have a million decisions to make. By the time you're 21, you're making those decisions and then chasing the guilt or anxiety of them with a sip of alcohol. You might be hitting the marijuana, which I was doing for years in my early adulthood. And I just recently, like, not crazy recently, I want to say my journey with weed stopped about 4 months ago. And I've been a consistent non-smoker for a little less than half a year, which to me is like way too short of a time. I should have been stopped smoking, but the thing is, my definition of smoking is a lot different than like the younger version of myself's definition of smoking, because I used to smoke like grams a day when I was like 19 to 21, honestly, because when I moved back in with my parents, it felt horrible, but it honestly saved me from falling deeper into the pits of, I hate to put this word on it, marijuana addiction, because it is addicting. At least for me. Maybe not for everybody. It's for me. Addicting. And not really constructive to my development of critical thinking skills. Like, it was just very much a good crutch for me to escape the grasp of capitalism and, you know, the political strife that we've been thrust into since we've been adults. And I've been getting back into, like, when I do consume media, it's like either something that makes me feel good in the way of Abbott Elementary, or, you know, I have series that I was already tapped into before I was restructuring my dopamine deficiency, like The Pitt, or unfortunately TLC Unexpected. And then if not, I'm watching like an educational video. I just recently as in 5 minutes ago, finished a video about our war with Iran, and why it is important, not so much paying homage to like the lives that are being lost at the hands of the United States and Israel for the umpteenth time, but more so talking about how the working class in the West and other parts of the world internationally is going to be affected by the lack of resources that all come out of Iran's grasp, that they are using to get leverage in the war, which I don't blame them. It's very fucking smart. Usually this information would scare me into panic, and I'd be like, I need to go on TikTok and see what they're saying about this on TikTok. I need to know what the TikTok experts will say about this on TikTok. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Just as much as they're overexposing me to information, they're overexposing you to information. So if you feel overexposed, if you feel overstimulated with everything going on, it might just be in your own personal life. I'm gonna be the umpteenth, the fifth, the sixth young, hip, gay Gen Z creator to tell you, put down the phone, pick up a pen, write about how you feel, journal about your own personal experience. It doesn't even have to relate to the political, geopolitical, economic state of the world. It could relate to just the mundane drama in your little bubble. Like, write about that shit. Turn it into a fake story. Turn it into a real story. Start writing down your experiences, your thoughts, your feelings. Start creating. I've made a few political art pieces, and I never published them, and I feel silly for not exposing my art to the world because it deserves to be seen, because I know like other people will feel validated when they're not used to making art that's centered around politics, and they can like be like, oh, that's another person who like, this is off brand for their content or the things that they post, but they're expressing themselves in this way. I want other people to do that, because then it validates me, we validate each other, and this is a time where we all need that validation. Not the traditional form of validation where it's like, oh, like validating you about stupid things, but more so validating you about like, it's okay to not be sure what's okay right now. And that's really just how I feel. I feel like it's kind of the age of everything. I myself have been having a mental butterfly effect of like letting go of my expectations for what my future will look like as somebody who is 24 in 2026. In 2046, 20 years from now, I don't know that the 48-year-old version of me, I don't think that math is right, but it might be in 2046. No, I'll be 44. The 44-year-old version of me will be I can't believe I fucked that math up. Let me stay on topic. The 44-year-old version of me will be the financially astute and well-knowledged middle-aged woman that I thought I would be. And it has nothing to do with my personal development and maturity. It has everything to do with the world itself constantly changing. The standards of humanity constantly changing. The standards of democracy constantly changing and being swept from under us. So if you're another person who kind of feels like you're being stuck in the tide of what the fuck, you are not alone. I just want you to say that. Like, if you do have it figured out, I'm proud of you. Thank you for thinking ahead, because you can be the voice that tells us where to go. You can be the person that guides us. And for a long time, I had a disdain for the people who already had Roth IRAs set up 5 years before me, even though we're, same class, 2020, whatever, or younger. I had disdain for people who already had a six-figure business and they're not even in their 30s. I had a disdain for people who have financial literacy, not clocking that this is somebody I can learn from. Instead of being jealous and being envious, I need to open my ears, turn off my ego, set aside my pride, and be receptive. Because although I may not know what the decision that I want to make is yet, I can still use this very informed and experienced opinion, even though it's somebody who I feel like should be just as lost as me, and they're not. They're stable. That's fine. I can use them to gain my own sense of stability in this ever-changing tide of bullshit. But yeah, I want a lot of my videos to be more like this, where I'm able to be more well-spoken, because anytime I've come on this platform and tried to share a thought, it was always in the midst of like an ADHD burst of energy where I just wanted to talk. But right now, I'm feeling so clear-headed and so like articulate that this is the perfect time for me to like pick up the camera, put down my insecurities. I'm coming to you guys in my nightgown and bonnet, which arguably very sexy ensemble, but you guys don't get to see this side of me where I'm like forming thoughts, like real thoughts, and saying something. I used to be a doom spreader. I used to be I forget the other name for that. I thought I was so well spoken in this moment, but again, where are my words? I just had like an allergy attack, which that's the only conspiracy. Excuse me. This will relate. The nose itching will relate. Are anybody else's allergies like extremely bad this season, and you're seeing no pollen? I see no pollen. I hear my people, but I don't see my people. I feel the allergy season exuberantly, but I don't see pollen on my car. I don't see pollen on the tree. It's too early for this. Why is my nose right now? Why are my tonsils inflamed? Why are my ears constantly itching? And I don't see pollen, boo. That's why I'm like, what are y'all putting in the air to make us not be able to breathe? Now, mind you, I do live next to a chemical plant. That's probably what it is. But I'm from Houston, Texas. I've been miles away from a chemical plant my whole life. I'm arguably a lot closer now. So that's probably what it is. And that brings me back to my point. Like, I think I need to lower my expectations for what our future will look like. And I don't mean that in like oh my God, it's going to be the movie 2073. Because like, while it might be a bit of Mad Max, I think that there will still be a lot of people who are creative and joyful and who have been able to keep their feet in the ever-changing tide, and they will be our sources and beacons of hope no matter how disastrous the world looks, because that's always how it's been. Like, we are just entering into an era of things we've never seen before, technology we've never seen before, AI, and, quantum mechanic chips. Don't even get me started on quantum fucking physics. We're entering an era of untapped territory, okay? Geopolitical strife that we've never seen, scarcity that we've never seen. But with this scarcity and this untapped territory, there is going to be a birth of people who hold space for peace and love and unity. And I want to be a part of that community. So that's the message that I'm choosing to push. And I hope that, you hear this and you're not just like, oh my God, her stupid fucking optimism. Do you see the gas prices? Did you hear that we're already in water scarcity? So, yes, I'm choosing to be an optimist. Do I choose to be an optimist every day? No, I just have my optimism panties on today. And so while you have your optimism panties on, I ask that you, instead of ripping them off because they itch and they feel uncomfortable and unreasonable to wear, keep them on for a little bit and just let them speak through you before you take them off and put your nihilism socks back on, okay? I hope that you're well, you're happy, and more than anything, I hope that I've inspired you to be creative. If you have to, make your migration off of social media slow. But I think that's what's going to help us. Not going to these phones and spitting out our opinions and our fear mongering and our worst thoughts and having them form, because words have power, because we all think that it's going to happen, but talking to each other in real life, which we don't really do anymore. People are getting really bad at having conversations, and I think that's a hard pill to swallow for our generation, but like, we're part of the problem too, because we don't talk to each other. We think a repost or a like is enough to say, oh, I agree with you, and this is what's right, this is what's wrong. But we need to be having these conversations out loud in the spaces where it feels the most uncomfortable in order to see real change. Bye.